No! No! You let him get away!
Well, if you want to get technical, he actually tricked us into escaping.
No! You're an idiot! And you're an idiot if you laughed at this stupid joke!
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the recap review. Today I'm going to be going over the second Dark Hunter, Krekka. Set number 8623. The amount of parts in the set is approximately 214, and at time of release, the price was approximately $20. You know, I know a lot of people have been excited for this review, and I was excited to get the set again and rebuild the set, because I got him back in 2004. However, I wanted to start this off really nice, which I will with the pros, but bear with me here through this review. But let's get started. Let's get right into the pros. First of all, the color scheme. Very, very consistent with dark blue, white, and silver all around. Some black details, but it's a very solid color scheme. It's a bit of red, but those are definite accents for his roboticness. Like his eye and the disc launcher, but we'll get into that in a sec. Another pro I would have to say would be the knees, but that's pretty standard with Titans. You expect knees. Another pro would probably be his unique design. A lot of the Titans this year are very unique. Krekka is no exception. The build is extremely enjoyable, and there is a lot going on, as you can probably see here. So it's definitely unique and a fun experience. Another pro would probably be the functions. Now, Krekka has two primary functions, aside from the mobility that he has. In the back here, you can see that he has two levers. One here, similar to the Rakshi, and one here, similar to the Borak. The one here, that's similar to the Rakshi, allows him to move his head and chest armor, I guess. So that moves back and forth, and it has an interesting mix of the gears and the rubber bands, which I've kind of seen before with the Borak. It's interesting. It's a very loose construction. The other lever, back here, the one that looks like a Borak, when pressed down, bam, will reveal the disc launcher. And standard, you press inward on the sides of the disc launcher, and off we go. Speaking of the disc, he has a Pometru style disc with a code of 338. This is exclusive to Krekka. To my knowledge, you will not find that in Akmu or Avaki. So, probably the other easy to figure out pros would be the mobility. He has standard points of articulation in his arms, legs, and head, neck, which is standard now. And I'd also go ahead and say that another pro would be the fact that he has very stable footing, because the foot design is very stable, because he has these little things here. Kind of look like they're made of styrofoam. So, I'd say that goes for the pros. Probably the brute look was very well done. He has a mechanical eye, which is very pronounced, so those are some pros. But, unfortunately, I will have to say that's where the pros end. Aside from the disc launcher, I like the disc launcher. It's a pro. Now it's time to get to the cons, and unfortunately, while they may not be longer than the pros, let's just get started. First of all, cons. No elbows. In a world where elbows are standard, Krekka stands out as having none. Going back to using the Toamata limbs, which do not have any articulation. Another con, I'm sure some would say, would be the disc launcher. As some would say that the disc launcher is a gimmick, and it is just there, and it takes out of some of the mechanics and whatnot. So some would say that. Another con, I would personally say, is the torso. The torso is abysmal. It is very haphazardly designed. While it is unique, like I had said, you can see it almost looks unfinished, having a lot of gaps, open pins right there, a lot of odd and loose and uneven ends. Another con would be how this sticks out horrendously. It's very awkward looking. And the function, also another con, is very loose and very unnecessary. If he already has a neck here, he does not need to do this. Speaking of the neck and head area, another con would be his head design. Turning the head, you have to do it very carefully, because otherwise this whole contraption back here will brush up against the Symmetrifoot placed as back armor, which is very frustrating. I'd have to say his other function is also a con, in that it occasionally conflicts with the head. It knocks right up against it, makes it very difficult for posing, and just it feels very haphazard. Another con I'd have to say are his stubby legs. Now I understand he's going for the brute look, but these are awkward looking legs. Unfortunately, these do not seem to be very well proportioned to the lower legs, and it just looks kind of awkward at times. Another con would be the open pins in his feet. Again, something that could be easily fixed with just 2 additional pieces that for some reason was not. Unfortunately, I'd have to say that's about it. I think I've already mentioned the gaps. Another con would be how these awkwardly stick out. I like the uniqueness, though. The uniqueness of this design is nice. It's just very awkward, which is exactly how Krekka is. Now, I know a lot of people will say, well, it fits in with the story, but I'm not reviewing the story here. I'm talking about the set. And unfortunately, the set is quite awkward. Now, if you lump them in, honestly, personally, I do like the set. Objectively speaking, though, with all other opinions in consideration, this is not a very good Titan. He's a good larger set, mediocre at best, but he's definitely not a good Titan, very haphazard, and in a lot of areas looks very poorly designed, which is unfortunate for me to say. That about wraps up the Krekka review. I hope you've enjoyed it. Sorry if Krekka fans are disappointed about this. And if there's anything I may have missed or did not mention, please let me know as per usual. Join me next week when I will be going over the final bad guy villain set, Taragaduma and Nivok. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed and will join me next week. Farewell.